So much more Nintendo Switch 2 information has come to light, and there's so much more we need to discuss, including just how much money you're going to be spending on this, how much upgrades are going to cost, how the games might not actually be on the cartridge, even if you have one of those swanky new red cartridges. I love the red cartridges. I don't know how I feel about a lot of this stuff. It is going to be a weird week because I think DK Bonanza and Mario Kart World look phenomenal. Age of Imprisonment actually looks really good. So many great third-party titles, but all of this extra stuff, I guess the important stuff, the adult stuff, right? The price stuff, the nuances, they're giving me the heebie-jeebies. So what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Check out my new shorts and reels. I'm posting fun stuff to hype this Switch 2 day, which I think overall is great, but the price of these upgrades is $10 to $20. So the upgrades are very interesting. I was hoping Nintendo would do free upgrades, and they are. Like, there's a list of Nintendo Switch 1 games that are getting free upgrades. They say the free updates may improve performance or add support for features such as game share. The contents of these free updates will differ depending on the game. And they're like ARMS, Captain Toad, Mario Odyssey, Link's Awakening, Echoes of Wisdom, Pokemon freaking Scarlet, and Pokemon freaking Violet, which need performance updates like nobody's business, right? These two games could utilize the Switch 2 more than just about anybody. It's a little weird because they say the content will depend on the game and they may improve performance. Looking at you, Pokemon Scarlet, that may improve performance? No. I need a freaking, yes, a big improvement of performance. But these other Switch 2 upgrades are going to cost, and based on the Japanese prices, it looks like the smaller upgrades, like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, are going to be $10 roughly. And it looks like the bigger upgrades, like Kirby, that includes the Starry World content, or like Mario Party Jamboree, that includes the Jamboree TV, are going to be $20. So to get the upgrade, if you already have the game, 10 or 20 bucks. I think 10 bucks is fair. 20 feels like a lot. And it feels like they are forcing you into this DLC to get the upgrade. Like, on one hand, making DLC is nice. I'm glad like they've made some new Kirby levels. I'm glad they're making new Mario Kart content. But being forced into that content to get the upgrade does feel a little bit shady. So, you know, we've got some of these games that are getting free upgrades, but if you look, that's 3, 6, 9, 12 that have been announced. 12 games out of well over 100 first-party Nintendo games are getting free updates. And then we have stuff like this, where if you have the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack, you'll get the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom upgrades for free. So that's like $20 extra of value booted into your Nintendo Switch Online membership, your expansion pack to your membership. That's also getting you GameCube, of course. I kind of wish that all upgrades were free for Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack users, but clearly there's too much money to be made. Don't even get me started on the $80 price tag for the digital version of Mario Kart World. But now, like, you're paying for these upgrades. I don't think many people are going to buy the upgrades. Like, I think this upgrade would be fun because you're getting the Starry World DLC, but for 20 bucks, it's a third of what I paid for the original game. 10 bucks for, like, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, okay. 10 bucks is what we paid when we played these games, like on PS5. Like, our PS4 games were like a $10 upgrade. But holy crap, a $20 upgrade, and they're staggering these. So these upgrades don't even come out right away. Kirby and the Forgotten Land plus Starry World is an August 28th release. So they're being weird about it. It's assumed that all 12 of these are coming day and date with the system. It looks like, what do they say about Tears of the Kingdom here? Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild come June 5th, so those will come launch, so that's good. We'll get those if you're an expansion pack tier user. But then things just get even weirder, okay? Because they have these game key cards. So Nintendo is changing the game when it comes to pricing of video games. The first ever $80 video game, potentially the first $90 video game physically, but some physical games aren't even going to be actually a physical game. Like, they're a physical game, but they're a physical game key card. So Nintendo has been doing this for a while. They're just labeling it now. This is sort of like the virtual game card thing, where Nintendo has been doing game sharing, but they're just adding a different, more in-depth explanation. The difference here is that this might be for first-party games as well. Nintendo Switch 1 had these like additional download required for third-party ports that were bigger games and required more oomph, and you were required to download at least some of the game. This means, though, that you're required to download the full game. It does have a cart. The cart is just the unlock. So it's got the nice swanky red cart, yay. But you're going to have to download the game. So there is this chance / world where you could get Mario Kart World for $80 with a game key card, but $90 for an actual real card. I mean, how many games are going to have real cards versus game key cards? How many games are going to have half of a game key card where you have to download some of it? This is download all of it. It starts to get a little messy. I think the Switch 2 is brilliant when you look at the Switch 2 and you talk about the screen and you talk about the Joy-Con and you talk about the Pro Controller and you talk about the chat functionality and you talk about game share and you talk about screen share. I think Switch 2 is phenomenal when you talk about Donkey Kong Bonanza and you talk about Mario Kart World and you talk about Kirby Air Riders and you talk about Age of Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment. I think it's brilliant when we talk about the third-party games like Cyberpunk 2077 and Elden Ring and the Duskbloods and Final Fantasy. I think it gets real scary when you start talking about pricing. And if we add everything up, like if you want a Switch 2 Pro Controller, that's $80. You want another set of Joy-Con, that's $90. You want a Joy-Con 2 charging grip, so you can charge them while you play in grip mode because you don't want to pay $80 for a Pro Controller. Well, they're going to charge you $35 to be able to charge them while you play it with the included grip. They're charging $13 for another strap. They're charging you $20 for two wheels, which honestly is the best value of the entire bunch. And they're charging you $50 for the Switch 2 camera and $110 for the Switch 2 dock, $35 for the Switch carrying case and screen protector, $80 for the all-in-one case, and $30 for an additional adapter. And then, oh, by the way, you have to buy express micro SD cards because if you want more than 256 gigs of storage that comes internally, your old micro SD cards that you bought for the Switch 1 will not work. Now, let me break this down for you. If you want an all-in bundle, if you want to go ham on the Switch 2, I'm going to give you the savings of Mario Kart World and the Switch 2 for $500. I'm going to throw in a Pro Controller. We're up to $580. I'm going to throw in a second set of Joy-Cons so you can play like 4-player multiplayer. We are up to $670. I'm going to throw in one of these Joy-Con 2 charging grips that you can charge while somebody else is using the Pro Controller and your Joy-Con have not been on the dock. We are up to $705. I don't want to include these Joy-Con 2 straps because nobody needs this. I am going to give you 2 sets of wheels for your 4-year-old to try and learn Mario Kart because you want them to grow up to be a Nintendo gamer. We are at $725. I'm going to throw in the camera because you need the video chat and you want to do this where you plug it in on the table for no reason. It's got the auto green screen functionality and feature. So we are now up to $775, and I'm going to throw in a Switch 2 dock set so you can play 4K in your bedroom and you can play 4K in your living room. We are up to $885. I'm going to give you a Switch 2 carrying case and screen protector for traveling to your friend's house. We are up to $915, and then I'm going to give you the Nintendo Switch 2 all-in-one carrying case for your big travels like when you're going to grandma's for Christmas. We're up to $995, and then I'm going to give you one more Nintendo Switch 2 AC adapter so you can charge it wherever you go, and we're over $1,000. By the way, did I mention that you probably want to buy a micro SD express card, and maybe you want to buy another game like Donkey Kong Bonanza, maybe you want to buy Cyberpunk 2077, maybe you want to buy any of the games coming out, maybe you can't afford a Nintendo Switch 2. Like, do they think I'm a billionaire? Do they think I work as an executive? Do they think I have my 401k and my savings? Dude, I can barely pay my mortgage. Eggs are like $10 a carton. What the heck is going on? This is a ton of coin. I think this is a lot. Maybe it's justified. Maybe the value's there. Maybe this is just what it costs to be a gamer in 2025. But for Nintendo, which usually comes in and gives you like the value, right? They usually come under. And they're going to say, oh, we are under, it's $450. You got to get Mario Kart, so it's $500. It's $500 baseline. This is expensive, and this is going to be unattainable for a lot of people. Gaming is becoming very expensive. The cost of the games are becoming more expensive. The cost of the consoles are becoming more expensive. The cost of the accessories are becoming more expensive. And now I understand why games like Fortnite that's free to play, it's a pretty good proposition. You can get in on that game for free and spend $20 on a skin, or you can spend $630 on the Nintendo Switch 2 plus Mario Kart in your Pro Controller. Whew! Do they think I'm a billionaire? Who do I look like? This is a ton of cash, a ton of coin, and I'm gonna buy it because I'm SwitchForce. But I understand if this feels like an overwhelming amount of cash being called for by Nintendo. Like a little bit greedy after you sold 150 million Switches, 60 million copies of Mario Kart, and you made so much darn money. You were sitting on piles of gold. You're the richest company in Japan, and now you're charging this. Whose fault is this? Is it Nintendo? Is it tariffs? Where does the blame lie? Because games were not supposed to become $80 and systems were not supposed to become $630. Nintendo systems at that, this darn fast. Yes, the PS5 was $500. I guess that was like almost 4 or 5 years ago. So maybe this is just what we get. This is inflation. This is increased cost. This is tariffs. This is the modern global economy. Everything is going up. And it's been 8 years since Nintendo released a console. Maybe I should have expected this. Maybe I should have been saving more money for my Switch 2. This is like a... Remember when they said get a job for a PlayStation? Now it's like get another job for a Switch 2? Ugh. Everything is so great until I see the numbers. Just don't look at the numbers. Don't look at the numbers! Don't look at the numbers. The numbers are scary. The numbers are scary. They really are scary. So freaking scary. But DK Bonanza looks so good. Mario Kart World looks incredible. They've evolved. They've improved. That screen is sexy. And yet, the price is so darn depressing. And obviously, you don't have to go all in like that. You could get away with a Nintendo Switch 2 Mario Kart World bundle for $500 and a Pro Controller for $80 and just call it a day, right? You know, you don't need extra Joy-Con. You can charge this thing. You can be smart about it. You can have no camera. You can have one dock because who needs two docks? You don't need the wheels. Play with your Pro Controller and Joy-Con. You don't need straps because nobody needs straps. We don't have to buy the carrying case. We'll just throw it in a nice bag with some bubble wrap. We don't need another AC adapter. Use your freaking iPhone lightning charger. And we can't afford too many more games, so do we really need 256 gigs more of memory when we've got 256 gigs on the system? So basically, I think day one, you're looking at the $500 console and the $80 Pro Controller for $580 plus tax, which is going to run you roughly an extra $50. This is a $630 system if you want to be able to play the big game and have multiplayer. $630 is a lot of money. And by the way, if you're not able to get one of the Mario Kart bundles, that price drops by $50, but then raises by $80. So then we're talking about a whopping $660, which feels kind of evil, and it is. That is so much money. A PlayStation 5 is $500, so now it's equivalent to a PS5. This is a PS5 level purchase, a $500 console, a $70, $80 controller, and tax. You are PS5 level, except, oops, the Switch games are more expensive because for some reason Mario Kart World is $80. The MSRP is $80, and it seems like that's the digital MSRP. So we are upping the price incredibly. Everything looks awesome. I think the graphics look great. I think Nintendo is really taking things to a new level with their franchises. I'm so excited to see where it goes beyond this. Like, we didn't get to see anything of 3D Mario. We haven't seen Animal Crossing, Smash Bros, Splatoon, Kid Icarus. So many other franchises like Star Fox that will one day hopefully come to this console. So many franchises like a 3D Kirby, like maybe a 3D Yoshi. There are so many games to be excited for, including all the third-party titles that are to come. But this is adding up so freaking fast. And if I want to get a couple launch games, I'm nearing $1,000, right? If I want to play Elden Ring, the Tarnished Edition, and I want to get that with my Mario Kart World bundle, and maybe I want to grab Street Fighter 6, and perhaps I'd like to play Cyberpunk 2077, I'm probably looking at $1,000 for this day one purchase, which is absolutely so much money. Start saving now, mow the lawns, search the couches, pick up the pennies in the Walmart parking lot, and get ready to pre-order on April 9th, because this is still going to sell out despite it being so expensive. You may think Nintendo goofed themselves, and maybe they did long term, but in the short term, this thing is going to sell out. I think it's so expensive, and unfortunately, I think this is the new future of video games. $80 MSRP soon could look cheap when GTA 6 comes out for $100. I really believe it will now. After Nintendo ushered in this $80, $90 price era, ooh, it's going to be painful. Game prices have been waiting to go up for a while, and it seems like we've arrived. In combination with more expensive upgrades, game and accessory costs rising, and games not even being on the cartridge. They're giving you the cartridge as a key. It's a fake cartridge, but it's actually official by Nintendo. What? This is all so new. It really does feel like a fully new generation, and where the Switch 2 was thought to be sort of like, hey, let's catch up with PS5 and Xbox Series X, it feels like Nintendo maybe is taking a different route and saying, we're starting a whole new generation. We've got this 1080p HDR screen, 120 frames per second, 4K when you dock it. It's got a fan. Don't forget the fan. It's got mice controls. It's like a PC, a Steam Deck, and a PS5 all in one. If that ends up being true, okay, the value's there. But right now, before we've actually played it, seen it in person, held it, touched it, known how the games are all going to run, it's a lot. It's a lot of money. And like I said, $660. Or if you get the bundle, $630. But $630 is still so much money. $500 for a game and a console, $80 for the Pro, $50 for tax. It adds up. Let me know your take in the comments down below. Will you be able to save enough money for a Switch 2? It's like a depressing question, but I want to know your take and how you feel about it. Can you save enough money between now and June 5th to pay $630 to get your Switch 2? Let me know your take in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. SwitchForce, out of money.